you struggle with watercolor moons, especially getting a clean circle without masking fluid, this is one of my favorite easy tricks. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to do a simple trick on how to paint the moon. And we're going to do this more of a landscape abstract style. So you will need a paper towel. You need your watercolor paper. I'm using my Fabriano 140 cold press. And you will need a coin, like a quarter or a nickel, a dime, depending on how big you want your moon. But if you don't have that, which I do not this morning, so I'm going to use the lid of my bleed proof white. Now that's a pretty good size moon. So if you want something a little bit smaller, just find something that's tinier, that is a flat surface, that is a circle, that you can use. I went around the house, I looked at a bunch of different things, and believe it or not, that's it. This is the only thing I could find that was a circle. I have a cap on this one too, but it's got some texture on there, which I don't want. So this is nice and flat. It hopefully is going to work okay. Okay, so again, we're gonna do an abstract. I'm gonna put my paper towel aside for now. I'm gonna wet my paints. So this is where you get to play with your paints, try different colors, and pick your favorite for a color combo. So I've got my 2 glasses of water, my clean and my dirty, and I think I've been doing a beautiful color combo with my teal and my lavender, so I think I'm gonna do that. Now you could do more than 1 color if you want, or more than 2 colors if you want, 3, but it does start to get a little iffy and sometimes you can create some mud in there. So I'm gonna go down on the bottom. We don't want a whole lot of color. You can give yourself some little spaces, little skips. I'm using a bigger brush this time. This is my 12 Da Vinci brush, only because I'm going to fill this area up on the top with more water. So we can do, again, I don't need a whole lot in here, just do some skipping and some spaces. I'm gonna rinse that off, grab my second color, which I think I'm gonna do my lavender. And I don't need a whole lot. I can touch some of that if I want. And here, maybe put a little on top too, just so we can get a nice color combo. We don't need a whole lot of paint with that. That's all I'm gonna do. Now before that dries, I'm gonna come up now with my clean water and I'm going to fill in this area on the top without touching my paint. I'm gonna come right up to it, get it nice and wet. Don't need to come right to it yet. Now I'm working with a pad, so I could come up and give myself, I could either tape the edges or I could do the whole thing if I wanted to, but I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of space because I don't want that color to go everywhere. I want it to blend out, but I don't want it to go all the way up and create hard edges up here. So I've got my paint in there, I've got my water, and now I'm gonna take my brush again with some clean water, and this is where I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna touch that paint and we should see a beautiful bloom. Look at that. Now I had a lot of water in my brush, so you can see that burst that happened there. Can even give a space if I want and continue on to the rest of it. Look at that. Beautiful. We could do the same thing on the bottom. Again, come up with some clean water. Might not come down all the way on that. And maybe just hit just a few spots here rather than the whole thing. A nice little reflection. Beautiful. So I don't have a whole lot of paint that's moved up. It's not super dark. Let's do a little bit of indigo in here so I can see if I can get some more of that bloom action. Yeah, look at that. Put a little more in here, maybe on the underneath. Getting some of that paint to move. Again, I gotta touch it where it's wet or else I'm not gonna get that burst. There. Now before this dries, I've got to work fairly quickly with my moon. I can already see things are starting to dry a little bit there. So I'm just going to put this, you can see where I've tested it here. I'm going to put that underneath and I'm going to twist this up. I do want that flat as can be. Tight twist, and then I'm just going to, oops, is that tight? I'm going to put that moon right here and I'm going to push and hold. Make sure I've got, I don't know how flat this is, so we'll see. There, so we have a beautiful moon. I probably could have had a little bit more color in there, and I have some texture in the moon, which is not a bad thing because you have little dots and sparks on your moon anyway. I'm just gonna tap off some of the excess water, and I can soften a little bit of that in there, just so I don't have that texture, but it looks like the man on the moon. I can also go in while this is still wet if I wanted to and do some darker around here, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as is. It's a soft, simple one. You could take it and maybe bring some across. You could either use white gouache across here, or you could use some darker color. Now you can do that while it's wet if you want, or you can do it when it's dry. If you still want a little movement in there, do it while it's wet. So I think I'm gonna keep the same colors. Maybe go a little darker with that indigo. Maybe do a little mixture of the two, the teal and the indigo together. And tap off again the excess paint. And let's just see if we've got movement still. We do. So it's not completely dry, but it's that matte finish we talked about. And if you haven't seen the video on water control, you might want to check that one out. And you can also have it, you know, it's wet on top and it's drier on the bottom. So it's all about timing with your water amounts. And your timing can be different on the top of your paper than the bottom of your paper. So I'm getting a little bit more detail down here, less at the top because I've got a lot more water up there. But we're gonna have, we can do more detail. If it bleeds too much at the top, it's too soft, you can always wait a little bit or go back in. Let's do another one over here. I think this is pretty dry. Let's do a little skipperoo on there. Maybe we've got a little spot where there is no tree branches. So see how much drier this is over here? And you can see where it bloomed here. Put another tree in here. All right, so some of that's drying now. The moon is still slightly wet, but it's a super easy way to make a round circle instead of you trying to paint that circle all the way around, and it gets a little frustrating. Sometimes when I'm doing this too, I will end up having to use my white to doctor up if I mess it up or if I need to make it bigger. So, but this is nice because you can actually use the white of the paper. I'm gonna do another tree here. See if that gets a little drier. I'm doing pretty much all the same color. I can do a little lavender in there. Let's just see what that's gonna look like. A couple little lavender trees. Keep the combo going. And the other thing is, remember with your moons, you can always make them bigger, but you can't make them smaller. So when you're painting, especially if you're using white gouache, you know, you start with a small circle and it gets bigger and bigger as you're trying to make that circle very round. So again, this is a really easy way. You just pick your size of your round circle, and you pretty much know what you're going to get that way. So it looks like almost a winter little icy wonderland. Again, you could put some little white gouache on there if you wanted to. You can start to do a few details in here, maybe some rocks. But I can also leave it very abstract and not too much of anything with it. That's the fun thing. So this should be dry enough. Let's test it out. If I put another tree right in front of that moon, it's got a little bit of a bloom there. But see how I tested it? Just very lightly touched it, and I can tell what's gonna happen by just touching it. I kind of like that softness. So it's up here. This is obviously a little drier, wet there, where I get a bit of a bloom. This is where I can come back over on these. This looks like a tree maybe in the background, so I could add a tree down in front of it. Give it a little bit more detail. Now this brush has a very fine tip on it, and I don't have a lot of water on there, as you can see. So I'm just dipping the tip of that brush in the water, so that way I have more control. So I can go back over any of those that are really, really soft if I wanna touch those up. And now it looks like that other one is behind it. It's a little softer. So simple, right? And so much fun. Now I can take some white, tap off the excess if I want to do just a little bit of a ripple down here. This could be ice, it could be snow, could be water. And I could also add just a little bit of snow in there, just a couple little drops. Now we've done a bunch of trees too, where we've added snow to the trees, so you could always do a little bit of snow on there. But that's all you need, just a little. Isn't that sweet? This is our Ice Storm 2026. That's the feel. Although a lot of those trees would be leaning over, and there'd be a lot more crystallization on them. Some of them are falling down right now. It's awful out there. You can hear it. All right, you guys, I hope that one helps you out. And again, a quarter works really well. I kind of had a little bit more difficult time with the lid, but anything will work if you need it in a pinch. All right, I hope you guys. If you're a patron, stick around, because we're going to be doing a second one, and I'm going to talk through a little error that I made. So if you're new to this channel, I hope that helped you out. Please make sure to like and subscribe for the next one, and I would love to hear about any cool little hacks or tricks that you know in watercolor.